Hi there, it's Leslie Fightmaster. Welcome to Fightmaster Yoga. And today's class is yoga for flexibility. We're going to do some splits and back bends today. Sit up nice and tall, close your eyes, and just start to come into your steady breathing. And bring your hands together in front of the heart. Take a moment here to set your intention for your practice. And then releasing that. Grab 2 blocks and a strap if you have them. Get them handy. And we'll bring a block between the feet and sit back in Virasana. Now we want the knees to be as wide as the ankles, no wider. And if this hurts your knees, try to sit up on 2 blocks. If it still hurts, then don't do this one. You can sit cross-legged instead. Or if you want to go deeper, you can sit in between the heels onto the floor instead of on the block. Inhale, sweep the arms out, around, and up. Spin the triceps toward each other. Exhale, right hand to left knee, left hand behind. Inhale, sit up tall, lengthen. Exhale, roll your left shoulder back and twist. So every inhale, see if you can get some length as you exhale. Maybe twist deeper. Bring the head to center. Inhale again, sweep the arms up. Exhale, left hand to right knee, right hand behind. Inhale, create length. And exhale, twist. Look over the right shoulder. And again, every inhale, see if you can create some length. And as you exhale, roll your right shoulder back. Inhale, head to center. Exhale to unwind. Interlace fingers behind you. Inhale, open up the chest. Shoulder blades release toward the waist and widen across your collarbones. Maybe reach the knuckles toward the floor behind you, maybe not. And see if you can reach your hands to the floor behind you. Lift up off of your block and reach the tailbone toward the backs of the knees. If that's too much, no worries. Just lean back maybe a little bit instead of reaching for the floor. Take your hips back down. And again, sitting tall. Let's take the right arm up, bend the elbow. Take the left arm out to the left. Take it behind you. See if you can clasp hands or you can hold on to your clothing or a strap. Spin the right tricep forward. Roll the left shoulder back. Gomukhasana arms. Keep the belly and ribs drawing in. Try to keep lengthening as you're pressing down through the feet. Reach through the crown of the head. Again, make sure the knees didn't get wider than the hips. Just another breath or two. Again, we're working on our flexibility. And release. Left arm up, inhale, bend the left elbow. Right arm to the right and sweep it behind. Clasp or hold on to something. And then roll the right shoulder back. Make sure those ribs don't pop forward. We want to keep the front ribs drawing down. Spin the left tricep forward. And the shoulder blades are going to move in slightly toward one another to create more space in the chest so collarbones can widen. Make sure the shoulder blades are also relaxing toward the waist. They're not hiking up toward the ears or the shoulders for that matter. And then release. Bring the hands behind you. Reach for the floor if you can. Lift your buns up off of your block, reaching your tailbone toward the backs of the knees. Stretch out the front of the body. Another long breath here. And if that's too much, you can just lean back a little. Release back down. And then we'll move that block out of the way. And bring the hands onto the mat, a little bit forward to the shoulders. Turn your inner elbows forward. Spin your triceps back. And then slowly make your way to down dog as if you could continue to turn your inner elbows toward the front of the mat. They won't, but that's the action. So that your outer upper arms, your triceps will spin back. Bicycle the legs. Bending one knee and the other. And try bending both knees. See if you can stretch out the spine a little more. And reach the heels toward the floor. Adho Mukha Svanasana, downward dog. Inhale, right leg lifts. Exhale, bring it forward. Right by the right hand, take the left knee to the floor. Pat up that left knee if it needs any padding. And then come up into a low lunge. Tailbone's going to lengthen down. Inhale, reach up through the arms, spin the triceps forward, pull the right hip back. Keep stretching up. Left hip's coming forward, right hip's rolling back, drawing back, knee over the ankle. So exhale, bring the hands to the mat. Now straighten that right leg again. Pull the right hip back, fold forward, exhale. It's a little runner's lunge, I guess. Is that a runner's lunge? Half split. I'm going to go with half split. Then rebend that right knee and step back into plank. Lower slowly all the way down. Knees can come down first. Untuck the toes. Inhale, cobra. Hands by low ribs. Then let's lift the hands up off the floor. See if you can stay just as high. Inner thighs spinning up toward the ceiling. And then hands back down. Maybe a higher cobra. If that works for your body, if it hurts your low back or neck, don't do it. Lower down, press up to plank. Knees can be up or down. Lift the hips for downward facing dog. Spread the fingers wide. Press into the base of your fingers. Inhale, lift up through the left leg. Exhale, slowly step it up by the left thumb and take the right knee to the floor. Inhale, making your way into your low lunge. So pull the left hip back, send the right hip forward, sink the hips forward, but watch that you're not arching the lower back a whole bunch. So to fix that, lift your hip bones up toward your lower ribs and draw those front ribs down toward the belly. Lengthen through all four sides of the waist, stretch up through the arms. Bring the hands back down. Inhale, straighten the left leg, pull the toes back, and exhale, fold over the straight left leg. Again, pulling that left hip back to keep the hips as level as you can. Stretching out the hamstrings. Now let's rebend it and tuck the back toes. Keep the hips low, come to plank. Exhale, chaturanga, knees up or down. Inhale, upward dog, or you could stick with cobra. And roll the shoulder heads back, and then exhale, lift the hips, downward facing dog. So if at any time you want to take a break, push the pause button and take the knees down, rest. And when you're ready to continue, you can just press play again. It's one of the nice things about practicing at home. Look forward, bend the knees, step or hop your feet up. Inhale, look up to lengthen. Exhale and fold in. Inhale, press through the feet, reach all the way up, spin triceps forward, and exhale the hands to the heart. Finding Tadasana here, make sure your feet are parallel together or hips width. Press evenly through the feet, lift the inner arches of the feet. Then inhale, bend the knees, sit back into chair pose. Imagine you're sitting into a chair. Exhale, belly to thighs, and then fold forward, Uttanasana. Bend the knees as needed. Inhale, look up, lengthen. Exhale, step back to plank or float back, landing in chaturanga. Then inhale, press through the hands and feet. Exhale to downward facing dog. Inhale, step the right foot up, spin the back heel flat for warrior one. Exhale, lower all the way back down, chaturanga. And inhale to press into up dog or cobra. And exhale, lift the hips, downward dog. On the inhale, step the left foot up, back foot is flat, warrior one. One breath all the way up. Then exhale, one exhale lowers you down through chaturanga. Shoulders no lower than elbows. Then inhale, open up the front of the body. Exhale, make your way back, downward dog, traditional Surya Namaskar B. Notice when you go back, I never tell you to jump back to plank. It's not a good idea. So you can step back to plank, or if you're going to jump, land with the elbows bent in chaturanga. If you're not sure about that, I've got a link below for a course called Align. You should check it out. It's great for home practice. Step or hop forward, inhale, lengthen. Exhale, fold in. Inhale, bend the knees. Utkatasana, drop the hips, reach up. Exhale to Samastitihi. Inhale again, chair pose. Exhale, belly to thighs, and then fold Uttanasana. Inhale, lengthen, look up. Exhale, step or float, finding chaturanga. So you're stepping to plank, lowering, or landing in it. Inhale, press into upward facing dog. Exhale, lift the hips, stretch all the way back, downward dog. Right foot steps, back foot is flat. Inhale, Virabhadrasana 1, Warrior 1. Exhale, lower right back down, chaturanga. Inhale, upward dog or cobra. Exhale, downward dog. Inhale, left foot steps, back foot is flat, heel to heel alignment, Warrior 1. Exhale, lower back down, chaturanga. Inhale, press through your hands and feet. Exhale, stretch back to down dog. Breathing here, draw your lower belly in and up, especially at the bottom of the exhale. See if you can pull it in a little bit more and lift all of the pelvic floor muscles. Spread the fingers, press into the base of the fingers, lift the forearms away from the mat, moving the weight up to the hips and then reaching down toward the heels. Look up, bend the knees, hips high, step or float feet forward. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale and fold. Inhale, bend the knees, Utkatasana, chair pose, and to Samasthiti. Exhale. Again, bend the knees, inhale, Utkatasana. Exhale, fold, Uttanasana. Inhale, halfway up, Ardha. Exhale, Chaturanga, step or float back. Inhale, upward dog or cobra. Exhale, downward dog. Inhale, right foot steps, back foot is flat. Virabhadrasana, Warrior 1. Exhale, ride the breath down through Chaturanga, hug the elbows in. Inhale, stretch through the front of the body. Exhale, downward dog. Inhale, step the left foot up, back foot is flat. This is one long inhale all the way to Warrior 1. And then exhale back into Chaturanga Dandasana. One breath per movement. Inhale, press into up dog or cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog pose. So this might be a nice time to take a break. If you'd like one, please push pause, take a break. And then let's come down onto the knees. Walk the hands a little more in front of the shoulders. This is Anahatasana. So the hands are sliding forward, but the hips are just above the hips as the chest reaches toward the floor. Try as much as you can. Roll the outer upper arms, triceps down toward the floor, the biceps up toward the ceiling. So it's, again, as if you're trying to make your inner elbows lift and turn to the ceiling. Let's come back up. Exhale, lower slowly to the floor. Press all toenails down into the floor. Press the pubic bone down gently. Inhale, lift everything up. Shalambhasana, locust pose. Widen across the chest. Keep the back of the neck long. Don't let the head drop. And then either stay or bend the knees. Reach for pinky toe size of the feet. So lift into Dhanurasana, bow pose. Keep lifting up with the legs and then press the feet back. And then release and rest. Bring hands by ribs. Inhaling, upward dog or cobra. Exhaling to down dog, all the way back. Breathing here. Inhale, ripple the spine forward, plank. Exhale, slowly lower to the belly. Interlace fingers at the low back. Inhale again, Shalabhasana variation. Lift everything up. Reach the knuckles toward the heels. Make sure the feet are hips width. And if you have a block that you're holding between the inner thighs. So inner thighs lift. You could stay there or bend the knees. Dhanurasana, lifting up again. Knees no wider than hips. Keep pressing the legs up toward the ceiling and then press them back toward the back of your mat. Slowly release and bring your hands by your low ribs. Take an inhale, press through hands and feet. As you exhale, tuck the toes for down dog. Stretch back. Take an inhale, plank, and then to the knees, stepping or hopping. I'm going to sit back on a block again between the heels, or this time you might be warm enough to sit your hips right down onto the floor. But again, make sure the knees do not go wider than the hips. Make sure your toes are pointed straight back. This is Virasana. And you could stay up or take the forearms down, so you're on your elbows, and lean back, but reach your tailbone towards the backs of your knees. And then coming up, hands on the floor, lift your hips up off the floor again like we did earlier if you can. Or take your forearms to the floor again and maybe lie all the way back for Supta Virasana. Now watch that your lower back doesn't overarch. I want to try to make that space between the lower ribs and the hip bones smaller. So the lower ribs draw down and the hip bones lift up. Tailbone reaches towards the backs of the knees, creating length. This is one of those poses that for me has become an acquired taste. When I first started practicing it, it was just awful. Felt terrible. So I was just so tight in the fronts of my legs and my hip flexors. I still get tight there, but not as much. And then let's come on up. Bring the hands forward. Walk the feet back into downward facing dog. Stretch everything out again here. And look forward, step the right foot up by the right hand, take the left knee down, and inhale for low lunge. Pull the right hip back. Take your right forearm onto your right thigh, reach back for your left foot with your left hand, or use a strap. Either hold it back there or you can draw it forward. So the left foot might be just a tiny bit to the outside of the hip, but try to keep the hips and shoulders squared up toward the front of the mat instead of opening to the side. Let's release and straighten the front leg. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, fold over it, stay, or you can start to slide out into Hanumanasana. If you're not all the way down, which I am not today, you can always grab a block, put it underneath your front thigh, or you can put hands on blocks on either side of you. And maybe pressing into the hands, reaching the back leg back a little bit more if possible. And then as you release that, you might lower a little more. Keep the right hip drawing back though. All right, roll to the right hip, bend the right knee. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, pigeon pose. Now if pigeon bothers you, roll onto your back. Take your right ankle just past the left knee and take that thread the needle pose instead. We don't want to hurt your knee at all ever. So if you're in pigeon pose thinking, oh, what a great knee stretch, come out of it. We don't stretch the knee. We want to get into the hip. The knee is kind of the hip protector. So if there's tightness in the hip, the knee will usually take the brunt of it. So don't let that happen to your knee. So wherever you are, check in with your breath. Try to keep your inhales and your exhales again equal in length. Remember to Ujjayi Pranayama, a little constriction in the back of the throat as you breathe through the nose if that's available. All right, come on up. Sweep the right leg back, stretch it up, bend the knee, make big hip circles in one direction, and then set it down. Inhale, lifting the left leg back and up. Exhale, step it by the left hand, take the right knee down. Pad up the right knee if it needs any padding. As you inhale, reach up. Pull the right hip back. Drop the tailbone down. Take the left forearm to the left thigh. Reach for the right foot. Maybe hold it toward the back. You can also use a strap, or maybe you'll bring it forward. As the left hip draws back, remember the right hip's coming forward. We want to keep our hips and shoulders squared toward the front of the mat. We don't want the hips to open. Breathe here. This will really get into the fronts of the thighs. So that back leg should get a good stretch. And then we'll straighten the left leg, half Hanumanasana, fold over the leg. You can stay with that, or you can start to slide out into full splits, Hanumanasana pose. If you're not all the way down, put a block under your front leg, or you can take a block on either side of your legs and put hands on them. Keep the back toes straight back. Maybe if you want to go a little deeper, walk the hands forward, press into the mat so that your back foot might slide just a tiny bit further back. And then when you release it, you might get down a little deeper. And if you don't, no worries. Roll onto the left hip, bend the left knee. Remember, any trouble with the knee, come onto your back instead, take thread the needle. Otherwise, Ekapada Kapotasana pigeon pose, lengthen, inhale, and exhale, stay up or walk yourself forward. So if you've rolled off to your left hip, put something underneath there like a block or a pillow or a blanket so that your hips are level, because that's an important part of keeping the knees safe as well. And checking in with the breath. Make sure your inhales and your exhales are equal in length. Come on up, tuck the back toes, lift the left leg back and up, bend the knee, make a couple big hip circles, and then set it down. Stretch back for a moment. And then look forward, we'll come through and sit. Stepping or hopping through to seated, lie back for bridge pose. Bend the knees, take your feet hips width apart, outer edges of your feet parallel. Press into the heels, lift into bridge. Roll the shoulders under. Spiral the thighs in toward each other. Keep your chin away from your chest. Breathe here. So think of this as a front opening instead of thinking of it as a back bend. And then come on down. And rest. Soles of feet together, knees apart. Take a moment to come back to the intention you set. So setting up again for bridge. Again, feet hips width. Roll the shoulders under, interlace the fingers. Imagine you're holding a block between the inner thighs. And then lower down slowly, release. Soles of feet together, knees apart, rest. Nice long breaths here. And again, press into the heels, lift into bridge. If you've got a block handy, you can put it at the base of the spine for supported bridge. Just right across where the sacrum bone is, right at the tailbone area. Or if you want to go deeper, hands up by the ears. And line up your wrists and elbows as you pause in the crown of the head. Press into upward facing bow pose, Urdhva Dhanurasana. Spiral the thighs in toward each other. Stretch out. Bring your chin into your chest to come down and then slowly lower. Rest. Soles of feet together, knees apart. Take a couple long breaths. You might feel your heart beating a little bit faster. That's what happens when we do our back bends. More energy. All right, once again, hands by the arms or hands up by the ears for wheel. Press to the crown of the head, line up wrists and elbows, press up, or you're in bridge or you're in supported bridge. Tailbones lengthening towards the backs of the knees. And if you're in upward bow wheel pose, your chest is reaching the opposite direction. Chin into chest and lower down, rest. Place a hand on the heart center, a hand on the belly. Breathe into those hands as you reconnect with your intention, or think of something you're very grateful for today. Let's bring the knees together. One more time, hands up by the ears or arms by your sides. Come to the crown of the head, line up wrists and elbows, and to Urdhva Dhanurasana or into bridge pose, Setu Bandha. Stretch out the front of the body. Tailbone reaches to backs the knees. Spiral the thighs in toward each other. Breathe. Don't forget to breathe. To come down, if you're all the way up, chin into chest first. Lower down, and this time we'll hug our knees into our chest. Gently rock side to side. Just another rock or two. Then start to rock back and forth. Take 2 or 3 rocks. Come all the way up to seated. Extend the legs in front of you, or Dandasana, staff pose. Then inhale, reach the arms up. Exhale, hinge from the hips forward. Reach for your feet or legs. Lengthen, inhale. and extend on your exhale. If it's hard to reach the feet, you can always wrap a strap around the feet, hold on to the strap, or just hold your legs. But try to keep your spine long instead of rounding the back. Sometimes we think, oh my gosh, I've got to get my head down, but it's better to reach the belly forward toward the thighs than it is to reach the head toward the knees. Inhale, head up, exhale, release. Bend the right knee. Left arm up, inhale, take it to the outside of the knee, and exhale to twist. Pull the left toes back, point them right up to the ceiling. As you inhale, sit tall. As you exhale, press the right hand into the floor, roll the right shoulder back. Then inhale, head to center, and release. Bend the left knee, sole the foot on the floor, left hand behind. Inhale, right arm reaches. Exhale, take it across to twist. So again, as you inhale, see if you can create some length through the spine. As you exhale, try and roll the left shoulder back, maybe twisting a little bit more. Your hips stay where they are. And then head to center. Let's come on back. And we'll make our way onto our backs. Right into our final resting pose. Not yet, but first we'll take the soles of feet together, knees apart. Actually, this could be your final resting pose if you would like it to be. If that doesn't feel very good in your body, then extend the legs out for a traditional Shavasana instead. Whatever you choose, allow your body to completely release and relax. I'll be back in a minute. As you're resting here is a little quote from the Buddha. Holding on to anger is like grasping a hot coal with the intent of throwing it at someone else. But you are the one who gets burned. Holding on to anger is like grasping a hot coal with the intent of throwing it at someone else. But you are the one who gets burned. Make some movements in your hands and your feet, fingers and toes. Take a nice long stretch. Hopefully if you have any anger at anyone, you can let that go before you get burned, because it's never worth it, no matter what. Bring the arms back down, bend the knees, feet onto the floor. Let's roll onto our right side. Pause a moment for gratitude for all of our blessings. And then when you're ready, press yourself up slowly with your left hand. Let your head come up last. Let's bring the hands together in front of the heart in Anjali Mudra. It's hands to the forehead to remind us to have clear and loving thoughts. Hands to heart center, reminding us to have clear and loving intentions. And our hands to the mouth, reminding us to have clear and loving communication, sending out positive energy to all beings everywhere. Namaste. Thank you so much for joining us today. I hope you enjoyed the practice. Push the like button, share it with your friends if you did. Don't forget to subscribe. If you haven't been to fightmasteryoga.com, we have a daily class there. We'd love for you to join us. And you can also sign up for our email list. And we have an Ashtanga course coming up. It's coming up soon, so stay tuned for that. Keep an eye out. Should be hopefully not too much longer. We do already have a course on alignment. It's called Align, and it's a great course for those of you practicing at home, so making sure that you're doing so safely. I wouldn't want you to get hurt. And if you can afford to support Fightmaster Yoga, we have a link below or on our website to donate. And this helps to keep us going. And we so appreciate every amount, every single donation that we receive. It's wonderful how our yoga community is coming together in so many different ways. I love you guys so much. I hope that you're having a wonderful day, and I'll see you next time. Bye.